The International Federation of the Red Cross found that the organization was facing serious management, financial, and governance challenges, but Moody believes the election process was smooth. The Water and Sewage Authority has outlined a series of short-term measures to ease water shortages in Moruga Tableland, including 4 new 30,000-gallon storage terminals, a 5,000-gallon expansion at the Mark Baptist Primary School, and commits to strengthening pipeline infrastructure in several communities. The initiatives were announced on Saturday as WASA Executive Evolution Team, led by Acting CEO Jivan Joseph, toured the constituency alongside Member of Parliament and Minister of Culture and Community Development, Michelle Benjamin. The visit formed part of WASA's ongoing nationwide infrastructure assessment and community engagement program. The visit formed part of WASA's ongoing nationwide infrastructure assessment and community engagement program, which began in June. Those were your 6 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at the top of the hour, right here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network.
The Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.
Good Monday morning, Trinidad and Tobago. I am running in and I am set and ready today, the 25th day of August, 2025. It's, well, 25. Yeah, that's the day today. A very interesting one. And let me tell you, last week I made mention of the developments with that decision made all the way in Washington that will impact the Caribbean, and that seems to be the biggest talking point coming out of the weekend and heading into this brand new week. And it's via the front page, and there is lots to unpack this morning. Gary Griffith will join me to give a perspective as we again try to make sense of all what's happening. And hot off the press this morning, well, of course, we heard from the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and her position is quite clear. She stands with the U.S., and she told CARICOM, well, listen, everybody will have to speak for themselves. So she is, at least based on the utterances thus far, holding her particular position and leaning towards Washington's policy, which is to treat with law and order and the drug cartels. But I sometimes wonder, and I say this honestly based on just looking at history, recent history, not only in the region but other parts of the world, sometimes the reasons given by Washington to go into a particular territory, into a sovereign nation, when you look at when the dust settles and you look at it after, you recognize, well, what was the original reason? So I wonder, you consider Venezuela's reserves and their natural resource and the oil. And we heard Donald Trump during the campaign trail speak not so much on Venezuela. Well, he did actually in some regards, but he's a businessman, and you know these things go. So that's just one point of consideration. But there's lots to unpack. And the opposition leader, former opposition leader who became prime minister, who's now a regular citizen, Dr. Keith Rowley, put forward a particular statement hot off the press literally about 25 minutes ago. So I'll go through some of that. And we'll give you a chance to weigh in after 7. It's a hot one. It's going to be a very interesting and I would say impactful program this morning. Jason Williams, that's my name. I'm signing on. I'm here with the team. Let's head to the front page of The Guardian. And staying on theme, TNT faces fallout. Regional experts warn our Prime Minister that support for the U.S. and Venezuela impasse could open up country to aggression. Now, of course, the Prime Minister with her second term here, you recognize she's coming in with a no-nonsense kind of policy. She would have made certain statements concerning Venezuela very early in this second term. She is at least tackling crime and criminality on the front foot. We are seeing at the front, I must say, in all fairness, we are seeing that, yes, there's still home invasions. As a matter of fact, a man died during a home invasion. So crime is still very much in the mix and part of the fabric. We can't fix that overnight. But at least the messaging and how they're going about it locally is very strong. And it seems that is the same position being taken when we treat with our international partners. Very strong words towards Venezuela, as we know, during the early part of the second tenure, and more so during this development. Her position is clear. She's going to lean towards Washington. And, well, experts are saying, well, last week they said for us to stay neutral. Now they're calling for us to, temper the language, because they suspect there can be some aggression towards not only Trinidad and Tobago, but also Guyana. We have to remember Guyana, they share a border with Venezuela. Of course, we're looking at some developments as it pertains to this situation. Many. Again, we're going about our business, huh? Trinis are going about the business. Some people don't even know what's happening. But the reality is, if there is any aggression, if there is any boots on the ground, we already saw that President Maduro would have commissioned about 4 million. We're talking 4 million militia. These are not even army personnel. These are just regular citizens, reserves, retirees, retired soldiers, young people. Once you're able-bodied and you're willing, you sign up, and you are now part of the militia. And this country is a country of about what I think when I did my last check, 28 million. Venezuela is no small fry, and they're literally 7 miles from us. So any kind of major fallout there, any change of regime, which I think is what obviously the U.S. are trying to do, it will have an impact. Yes, it might be favorable ultimately in the long run, probably, you never know, for the U.S. and Trinidad and Tobago, but it's normally it's a shambles before it gets to that particular place. And we have seen where the U.S. would have intervened in other parts of the world, and is still trying to catch itself up to today. So this is we find ourselves in a real ticklish place, and I think this is a major test. A major test. This is one that, according to how we sway and what decision we make, it could really be part of not only the Prime Minister's legacy, but also the direction of the country and how we treat with any potential fallout, because this is a region of peace. The last time we had any major incident in the region would have been, of course, Panama, 89, when again they used narcotics and drugs as a reason to run in on Noriega, who was eventually taken out. I know that, of course, Grenada, with Bishop and stuff, that was another time they, put the foot on sovereign soil and had a whole regime change there. That is Caribbean history. But this one is different. Maduro, he's not going to back down. Strong man. Watch him there. His language is very strong. Diplomatic ties are strained. As a matter of fact, there's no diplomatic ties with the U.S. and Venezuela. That went through the door, I think, back in 2019. And Maduro, granted, they have vogue. Any leader, no matter who you are, they will have people who love you and it'll have detractors. And he have lots of detractors. There are lots. But the reality is, he was able to negotiate and again, I hold no brief for Mr. Maduro, but I'm just speaking the facts. This man has been able to hold on to power there. Granted, many look at the elections as a farce, and, people have Guaido as the man, and he is kind of, the president in waiting, and he's the one that the U.S. they recognize. But as of today, the 25th, that's the man who's sitting in the corridors of influence. So it's a very interesting development, and I really hope this is just kind of positioning and it's just rhetoric and it don't get down to any kind of military action, because trust and believe will not be nice. I'll come to the former Prime Minister's statement in a few. Let me hit to the back page. TKR reign over the Kings. Beautiful win for us over the weekend. Well done, and of course the action shifts to Trinidad and Tobago soon. So again, good showing there on Saturday night in St. Lucia, beautiful Grosselet. For those who know St. Lucia, you're familiar, you must, going to Grosselet is like, it's like the equivalent of, like when you come to Trinidad, you must go to St. James or like a Woodbrook. But Grosselet is not, it's more by the ocean, that kind of nice island vibe music and restaurants, and that's their thing there in St. Lucia. So well done, and we look forward to the TKR coming home soon. Let's head to the brief on this Monday morning. And in keeping with the big celebration yesterday, Arima was alive. We are seeing some members of the Santa Rosa First Peoples community, and they are there for the Santa Rosa Day harvest held yesterday. Many went out. My Uncle Dave, a matter of fact, remember I always talk about my Uncle Dave not missing a harvest? Well, he was there. So this was beautiful Santa Rosa Festival Month celebrations. And let me tell you, Trinidad is really a melting pot. These are the first peoples, the originals, Everybody here, well, different circumstances brought us here, but they are the originals. And some of them even, they have that look. You could literally look at them and realize, wait, no, these are first peoples. Amazing. Also, Councillor promises to rectify manhole woes in Blue Basin. And while you're by Blue Basin, make us swing down to that street now. We went on cover last week by Quarry Street, because my goodness. So let me just give you a little bit of flavor here. Could I do this, Nakisha? Could I give a little flavor here as to what the former Prime Minister would have mentioned? Do we have time for this? Okay, so we'll do it inside the open forum later on. Now, I'll say this before I take the break. Granted, when I read the statement, and kudos to Angelo for bringing this to me, lots of it is spot on from the former Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley. But I think at this point in time, the reality is people don't really want to hear from him. That's the reality of the situation right now. But I'll still go through some of what was mentioned, and we'll break it down later on. Up next, your boss report. Saru joins us to give us the latest with the big movements of the stocks and bonds and the big money. Boss report up next.
Seeing her succeed makes me proud, and I know I made the right choice by giving her Enfogrow since she was little. Knowing that 85% of brain growth will occur by age 3, Enfogrow's blend of ingredients such as DHA helps support your toddler's brain development and contains 22 nutrients to support their diet or nutrition. Enfogrow, what you do today will last forever. This product is not intended to be a substitute or complement to breast milk.
Oil and music at the Freebird Festival.
We are heading down to the Pointe-a-Pierre Golf Course on our Independence Day. We celebrate our national instrument and our icons in true style. Witness a once-in-a-lifetime joint performance by King David Rudder. Backed by the powerful Exeter Steel Orchestra, Southland Skiffle, backing Irfan Alves, and Sherwin Winchester, Ice Asher, Charlene Bailey. Also featuring Ricky Jai, Jam Melody, Trupati, Shimmy October, Mungal Patersaw, Shiv Shakti Dancers, Malik Tassa Drummers, and all of our beloved traditional characters.
The land of oil and music.
There's something here for everyone, from baby to adulthood. Anything you need, it is right here at Food Basket Super 99.
Food Basket Super 99, affordable and trendy.
Food Basket Super 99 Arima, where fashion meets affordability.
This is a serious problem in Trinidad. What is diabetes?
There are two forms. Diabetes type 1, when your body stops producing insulin. Type 2 diabetes is a result of poor lifestyle. Type 2 diabetes is associated with being overweight, having high blood pressure, at higher risk for heart disease. It is a very serious problem.
Do not wait until it's too late. Let Omega XL be the first step in the right direction.
Get your Omega XL today. Live long, stay strong with Omega XL.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. You can live your dream, join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve big goals. Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Welcome to ABC Doors and Windows, TNT's #1 destination for the best quality and widest variety of doors and windows. Enhance your space with our premium wooden, steel panels, fiberglass and steel security doors, complemented by our aluminum, UPVC and steel windows. Shop for the best quality and service at ABC Doors and Windows. Visit our impressive showroom at 1 Chancatrace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to get started. Trust ABC for a better choice.
Well, it's time for the Boss Report on this Monday morning. Let's say good morning and hello to Surud. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jason, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to the Boss Report. Well, today we're taking a look at some financial results from the conglomerate sector, two of the region's largest conglomerates. We're speaking, of course, about Massey Holdings Limited, rather, as well as Grace Kennedy Limited. Both groups would have reported fairly decent results. Let's take a look at what the financial groupings would have reported and what investors might expect in the coming months ahead. Turning firstly to Massey Holdings Limited, or Massey, the group would have reported for their 9-month period ended June 2025 an earnings per share result of 25.3 cents, which was a 15.7% improvement from the 22 odd cents recorded in that prior comparable period of 2024. Earnings from continuing operations were up also 17.4% from 20.9 cents to 24.6%. Driving this performance was a very modest increase in revenue from continuing operations of 4% from 11.39 billion to 11.85 odd billion. Operating profit after finance costs up 32.3% from 603 to 798 million, with profit attributable to equity holders ultimately increasing at 15.7% from 432.6 million to just about $500 million for that 9-month period. So certainly makes for good reading for Massey investors at this particular point in time. Now, driving that result in terms of our profit before tax contribution by segment were the major sectors of, or major business lines of Massey Holdings Limited, which would involve integrated retail increasing in terms of PBT contribution from 456 million in that 9-month period of 2024 to 513 million in 9 months of 2025, roughly 12.5% increase. Gas products also improved roughly 12% from $246 million to $275 million. There was some marginal declines in the motors and machine segment from 141 to 128 million, a roughly 9% decline. And financial services also declined from 66 to $57 million there. But from another positive driver for Massey's performance would have been a recovery in profitability margins. And here we can see that profit before tax margin in that pink line would have rebounded from 6.3% in that 9-month period of 2024 to 6.8% in the 9-month period of 2025. Similarly, operating profit margins had a very strong rebound from 5.3 to 6.7%, and profit after tax margin improving also from 4% to 4.5%. All of these profitability margins trading at the higher end of their recent ranges from the 9-month period of 2021 coming forward to the 9-month period of 2025. So what does that mean for investors? Well, impressively, Massey is recovering a bit in terms of their ability to convert every dollar of revenue generated into profits for their shareholders. And from a geographic diversification perspective, also some important and positive changes. Here we can see that the reliance on the Trinidad and Tobago market has continued to moderate from 40% in the 9 months of 2022 to just about 33% at the most currently concluded period. We also see that Barbados has been relatively resilient in terms of its geographical diversification in terms of profit before tax at around 14%. Marginal growth in the Eastern Caribbean segment moving from 11 to 12%. Guyana continues to grow fairly strongly from 26 to 27% over the comparable periods. A slight decline in terms of Jamaica's contribution from 11 to 8%, USA holding steady. And Colombia also improving just marginally from 4 to 5%. So at a price of $3.90, Massey is trading at a price-to-earnings ratio of 10.6 times, which is below the sector average of 11.9 times, and offers investors a fairly attractive, well, the most attractive dividend yield, in fact, on the conglomerate sector of 4.5%, which is significantly above the sector average of 2.4%. So with that modest revenue growth in mind, those recovering on higher profitability margins and that continued enhanced geographical diversification away from its anchor market, if you will, was maintaining an overweight rating on Massey for the time being. Turning very quickly to GKC, or Grace Kennedy Limited, well, the group would have reported a lower earnings per share figure, actually, of 4.3% decline, in fact, from 19.4 cents per share, TT equivalent to 18.6 cents. There was, however, a revenue growth of 5.5% from 3.68 billion to 3.89 billion. However, ultimately, net profit attributable to equity holders would have declined to 6.1% from 206 million to just about 193.5 million TT equivalent after all effects of expenses, etc. When we take a look at contributions to PBT, or profit before tax, by segment, we can see that there were some notable changes, fairly modest improvement in food trading from 189 to 191 million TT equivalent, or just about a 1% increase. Again, these are before eliminations. Money services declined fairly significantly, about 26% from 64 million to 47 million TT equivalent, reflecting a more challenging remittance environment, particularly in the Trinidad and Tobago jurisdiction. Banking and investments fairly stable at 26 million TT equivalent in that green segment, and insurance improving just about 14% from 43 million to 49 million TT equivalent. Here we can see in terms of profit before tax, or profit before tax margins and profitability margins rather, that there was some deterioration in operating profit margin from 7.6 to 6.7%, while profit before tax margin also trended down from 7.7 to 6.9%. In contrast to Massey, these profitability margins are trading at the lower end of their recent ranges from the half year of 2021 coming forward to the half year period of 2025. From an earnings per share basis, on a trailing 12-month basis rather, we can see that there has been relative stability in GKC's earnings per share on a trailing 12-month basis, and that has also been reflected in a relatively stable share price, with trailing price to earnings ratio hovering at just about between 10.3 to 10.5 times over the past 3 consecutive periods. So at a price of $3.65 per share, GKC is trading at a price to earnings ratio of 10.5 times below the sector average of 11.9 times, with a dividend yield of 2.8%, which is above the sector average, but fairly average in terms of the larger scope of dividend yields on offer across the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. So with that steady revenue growth in mind, however, noting that GKC does remit its dividends in US dollars, and relatively fair valuations, Boss is maintaining a market weight rating for the time being on GKC with a stable outlook. But that's it for this week's edition. For more information, you can give us a call at 226-8773 or to Boss. Email us at info@bossfinancial.com, and of course you can check out our website where all of our research is absolutely free at bossinvestment.com, and you can catch this article in today's business section of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian newspaper. So until next time, stay safe, happy investing, enjoy your Independence long weekend, and we'll see you again on the Boss Report.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on CNC3 and start your wellness journey today.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
So I hear Beta Homes has the best kitchens.
You heard right. We have Shaker style, modern Euro, and hardwood.
I like this one. Can I test it right here, right now?
Sure, but how are you gonna do that?
All right, you all, come inside. Are you ready?
Time's alive! Oh, a spice rack.
Soft close door hinges. Oh, this countertop's nice, well.
It's hot, so, what do you think?
Well, this
100%.
is it. I'll take it. Build the kitchen you love for less at Beta Homes, Carney or French Street.
It's a beautiful day at the Oval. And opening the bowling from the Palm Grove end is Sean Bishop. And here he comes charging in. Right arm over the wicket. Powell takes a huge swing. Richardson is under it. Whoa! That was a spectacular catch. Big things ahead for this new crop of youngsters. The future is bright.
Get the best back-to-school specials at Southern Fruit Basket. Malta, 1 case for $94.50. Malta, Shandy, Ginseng, 3 for $19.95. Coca-Cola, 2 liters, 2 for $19.95. EcoFrost Straight Cut Fries, 2.5 kg, 2 for $69.95. Swiss Barbecue Sauce, 500 ml, 2 for $17.95. Swiss Econopack Ketchup, 750 ml, 3 for $19.95. Available at Southern Fruit Basket. Offers available while stocks last.
Excuse me, आपने इन्हें कहीं देखा है? Please.
हाँ मैम, ये अभी आए थे और 302 रूम पूछ रहे थे.
302.
The drama unfolds on Uteran. Don't miss a moment. Weekdays at 6 p.m. only on CNC3.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
Volleyball filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
Of course, this particular development as it pertains to Washington, their positioning on Caracas and of course Port of Spain, just based on our location, we are part of the conversation, and our Prime Minister would have made it fully clear her particular policy position. And of course, we still anticipate or wait to see what transpires, if it's just, you know, these military assets coming into the waters to show strength and just give a warning, or if it's going to be part of a bigger plan. Only time will tell, or we can't predict what will happen tomorrow or next week. But weighing in on this development, the former Minister of National Security, Gary Griffith, joins me, and he's wearing that cap this morning because, Gary, I know you understand international relations, certain issues as it pertains to national security. And I guess based on our location, the fact that we are 7 miles from Venezuela, what happens there will have a direct impact on Trinidad and indeed Tobago. Gary, great to see you this morning. I want to get your initial reaction to all that's happening in the region pertaining to this development, more so as it relates to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, sure. Good morning to you and to your many viewers. This year, let me just see how I can condense it as quickly as possible in a couple of minutes. This is nothing new. And when I say nothing new, the concern that people are hearing about this massive armada of U.S. warships coming into the Caribbean. Since I was a military officer, as a lieutenant and a captain, being involved in operations and training and so forth in the region, we had something known as CNC3, the Caribbean Islands Nations Security Conference, and then CANSEC. And this was funded by the U.S. SOUTHCOM, that's the U.S. Southern Command. And they have been involved in strategic training operations jointly with CARICOM to prepare us to deal with drug trafficking, dealing with transnational organized crime. And in fact, it was the People's Partnership Government, when I was security minister, we reignited the transnational organized crime unit to deal with such matters. And so when people speak, I'm listening to comments being made by certain persons who are very ignorant in understanding regional security, because people speak about why are they coming with these ships? It can't be to deal with drug trafficking. We have been involved in massive operations with our major international allies, whether it is the US, whether it is the French forces in the Antilles dealing with Martinique and so forth, the British forces as well. And the type of vessels that they have, we do not have in the Caribbean. So because we have something known as the exclusive economic zone, which is like goes as much as 200 miles out of our mainland that we cannot secure. So this year has been the norm. If it is that now, because there's a perceived link between US, some degree of concern with the US and Venezuela, we can't speculate, and that is what is happening. There's a lot of speculation taking place. And my take on it is we have to be aware that Venezuela, they put the first shot across the bow. When you listen to the comments made by Venezuela about Trinidad and Tobago a few months ago, we are taking this for granted. When it is the Venezuelan government openly accused Trinidad and Tobago of having terrorist links and having Trinidad and Tobago as a launching pad to destabilize the Venezuelan government. That is a shot across the bow. We can't be idle and just ignore that. We have seen for decades the situation with La Guardia Nacional invading Trinidad and Tobago's territorial waters and affecting our fishermen. The country is not aware, but if you go to Chaguaramas on a daily basis, there are dozens of Venezuelan vessels that go under the guise of fishing. They come in and bring in over 100 persons and they leave with 5. And so we're speaking about tens of thousands of persons who are here illegally. That is a byproduct of human trafficking, sexual exploitation of women, drug trade, illegal weapons entering. And we need to deal with this situation. For us to just simply speak about, well, that is Guyana's problem with Venezuela. We have a similar situation to Guyana because we have untapped resources in the energy sector, as I speak about that exclusive economic zone that is there. And when you have countries that will see that and they start throwing red herrings to speak about terrorist activities in Trinidad, and we are used as a launching pad, as a base, and the Venezuelans have stated openly that they will hunt these people down wherever they are. It is our right to make sure we can't play big and bad. I heard a government minister try to say, yes, we will tackle Venezuela, and we can't. We do not have the capability. But if we have the support from our international allies to protect Trinidad and Tobago's resources and our own mainland from any type of aggression, we should do it because we do not have the capability. We need that type of support, whether it's support of drones for surveillance, drones to deal with missile launching capability, helicopters, SAM, that is surface-to-air missiles to protect ourselves. We need to be prepared. We can't just bury our heads in the sand and feel like God is a trinity.
Gary, let me jump in because obviously Washington and the spokeswoman who went in front of all of the world last week and made mention of Mr. Maduro by name, claiming he's into drugs, he's part of a cartel. She called out the cartel, and she said they're sending these ships to the waters to tackle Mr. Maduro. And a matter of fact, the bounty was raised now to $50 million. So I think this is not any exercise or any cruise. I think it's part of a bigger plan. And let's be real, I think drug is being used as the scapegoat. I think obviously we know what Venezuela is sitting on. We know of their natural resource and the fact that they are, in that regard, extremely wealthy. So I wonder if it's part of a bigger plan. And if indeed it gets into any kind of military action, Gary, I think what you just described will become only worse with people coming here to seek refuge.
No, definitely, but I'm hearing what you're saying. But again, this is all based on speculation. We cannot jump in a fight with Venezuela and the United States. That is not our business. We are not here. I am not here to pick sides. I have nothing against Venezuela or the United States or anything in blind support of them. But what we have seen is that I ask the country, we need to be very careful in the persons who are being interviewed, because everyone has an agenda in this country, and sometimes what is being said by persons who are deemed as experts can very well resonate into the minds of the average citizen to believe it being true. There's one person who I think, if it is that Trinidad and Tobago defeats Curacao in the World Cup qualifier next week, he will praise Maduro. And he's a political leader of a party that has never been in politics for 15 years. But every single comment he makes is to support Cuba, support Venezuela, support China. And the media continues to give him that opportunity to infiltrate into the minds of the people that what is happening is to let us support Venezuela. There's another person who one media house continues to plaster and paint as a regional security expert. And he makes these statements without any training, qualification, or knowledge in regional security. He's never gone further north than Shaka Shakari, never held a slingshot, never led anything. But one media house, you all know them well, and a television station and a newspaper continue to refer to this person as a regional security expert. When you do that, and the person may not be trained, qualified, or experienced in this very delicate situation, information can be filtered into the public to falsely mislead them into thinking the wrong thing. So I need us to be very careful. We must not be operating based on emotion. We need to do it based on logic. I am not here, whatever the comments the Prime Minister and the previous Prime Minister have said, that is their business. I'm not here to defend them or to attack them.
But I'll let you continue, Gary, but I'll tell you this. You know, you mentioned the word speculation, but you see, we have seen this playbook time and time again. We saw this in '89 with Noriega. They used drugs as a means to go in on a sovereign nation, which was Panama. We saw the same with Libya and Gaddafi. You know, we have seen this time and time again where there is a particular reason put forward. We saw it with Iraq and Saddam Hussein. Mass destruction weapons, it was never found. So again, I'm leaning on the side of what I've seen, just as a young person looking on at the news cycle like everyone else, and I wonder, with these military assets coming into our waters in this region of peace, you know, I wonder where ourselves and Guyana will be based on our proximity in this whole development. I think this is a serious cause for concern, you know, Mr. Griffin.
No, I agree with you 100%. And we should not be just blindly picking sides based on who we feel could be of economic value to Trinidad and Tobago. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there is a clear and present danger pertaining to how Venezuela has spoken about Trinidad and Tobago. They threw shots across the bow, and we have sat back idly. I think only the Prime Minister decided to flex her muscles. I was surprised about it. I think she probably would have gone out of her crease to the point where she said she was ready to attack with full force if Venezuela decides to invade Trinidad and Tobago. But it was a serious comment that I think only the Prime Ministers realized how serious that comment is. Venezuela put a shot across our bow and openly stated that they virtually will invade Trinidad and Tobago because they have lied by stating that Trinidad and Tobago is a launching pad to destabilize the Venezuelan government. That's a very serious comment. Why would Venezuela make a comment like that? So we keep speaking about USA and Venezuela. I am speaking about Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago, to the point that what Venezuela is doing to Guyana is typical of the bullying that we have seen all over the world, where one country believes that we are bigger and we want your resources, so we want to try to tap into your exclusive economic zone by saying that that land or that area, that water belongs to us. They will do the same to Trinidad and Tobago. By now, they could, by this comment, on what grounds you have to have accused Trinidad and Tobago of being involved in terrorist links to destabilize Venezuela, and Trinidad and Tobago being used as a launching pad. We need to be very careful, and if it is that their intention is to do to Trinidad and Tobago the same that they intend to do to Guyana, and they are allies of Trinidad and Tobago that could protect Trinidad and Tobago, I am stating let us utilize it properly. Because when I was Minister of National Security, I did that. I was able to provide the U.S. with a representation from Trinidad and Tobago in Southcom, and there were critical technological resources that Trinidad and Tobago has that will be of immense value to the United States in protecting Trinidad and Tobago, not to help the USA. I'm speaking about giving them the assets and the technology that we have that can assist them to protect us. If that could be a big brother to assist us to ensure the safety and security of citizens of this country, country. I will be that in that direction.
Well, Gary, I mean, I hold no brief for the Venezuelans and Maduro and what they do, and you're spot on. I mean, yes, they did indeed speak out of turn, and I guess we are ultimately within our right to defend ourselves. But as we know, intelligence is your greatest currency in that world. I mean, you're part of that world. And when we look at Trinidad and Tobago, we might be small, but we would have had major impacts, and sometimes a very negative way. Look at the amount of Trinbagonians who left here and went through Turkey to go fight with ISIS, Gary. So based on just that alone, if the Venezuelans are coming with this outlandish claim, is it really outlandish based on our track record and the fact that we have nationals who born, grew up, eat doubles? They grew up right here. But for some reason, they jump out themselves, Gary, and put themselves in places and spaces that they're not supposed to be, that were way above their particular potential and capacity. So I wonder if the Venezuelans had information, Gary, that we are not privy to make that kind of statement.
And this is where I'll say do so and like so. Because in one side of our mouth, we are saying, well, maybe Venezuela's information Trinidad and Tobago doesn't have about Trinidad and Tobago. But in the other side of our mouth, we are stating that the US is stating that they have information about Venezuela, we must ignore it. You can't be half pregnant. So the United States is making an accusation of major narco trafficking involving Venezuela. And we will just flippantly say, no, that's a lie, ignore that. But Venezuela could make accusations about Trinidad and Tobago, and we are saying, well, maybe they have information that we don't have. Let us stop being half pregnant. The same way there's intelligence, that intelligence could be misleading, intelligence could be an avenue towards fact. But in the same manner, Venezuela made an accusation, and up to now, they have not been able to pinpoint to say that this shows the evidence. I think it was a red herring. It was a shot across the bow to be used as an excuse to come after Trinidad and Tobago's exclusive economic zone in the same way they use excuses for Guyana. That is my take on it, because you can't make an accusation about something and you can't show proof. Because in that same manner, if it is that we are questioning the United States justification by linking Venezuela to narco trafficking, and they're saying, well, show us the evidence, then I demand that Venezuela must do the same to Trinidad and Tobago. And if they can't, I am stating that it is a clandestine action by Venezuela to try to do the same thing they did to Guyana, to Trinidad and Tobago in the very near future, which is to invade Trinidad and Tobago and seize our exclusive economic zone, because they understand the billions of untapped energy resources in our exclusive economic zone that they want.
Indeed. Gary, let me ask you, I mean, obviously diplomacy is the best. I think that if diplomacy takes center stage, I think that would be the best option. But what's the worst case scenario, Gary, in your mind, based on this development?
Well, the worst case scenario is something definitely, I don't think anyone would want open conflict between the United States and Venezuela, and then it could be a piggyback. I mean, I tell you, as the Commissioner of Police and Minister of National Security, I met with many of our top international allies at the highest level, and they spoke about the major concern that they had as it pertained to the previous government, very close affiliation with countries that were not in the best interest of democracy, inclusive of the United States and Trinidad and Tobago. I'm obviously not going to call the names of the countries and the individuals, but pick sense out of nonsense. This has been a situation where Trinidad and Tobago have been rubbing shoulders, probably with the wrong persons, and we get no benefit from it. And the chickens are coming home to roost. Let me go back again. The problem we have with over 1/7 of our population, adult population, being illegal immigrants, even though it's not solely Venezuela, but we have a situation where if you have 1/7 of your adult population, we cannot account for. That is a byproduct to all the things I speak about: illegal human trafficking, sexual exploitation of minors, drugs, gangs, all of these things. Let us put an end to it. We are getting hundreds of Venezuelans entering Trinidad and Tobago on a daily basis, and it is getting worse. So if it is that we speak about what is going to happen with Venezuela, the problem that most of the persons who enter Trinidad and Tobago illegally come through the legitimate ports of entry, by the way. So this is not a case of Venezuela happening like what happened in Haiti, where people just trying to get across the Dom Rep and Jamaica. We can actually secure our borders properly if we have the proper support from our international allies. We have to put an end to it, because Trinidad and Tobago is reaching a point of no return, because we cannot account for 1/7 of our adult population.
Well, I'm watching the development over the weekend, and Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who is also, in the know, what you just mentioned is facts to all of us and the Prime Minister, and she's looking at this development, and she obviously early in her tenure would have made a counter argument to, as you would have said earlier, Venezuela spelling the first words over the bow. But over the weekend, she would have mentioned that in terms of CARICOM, each member state can speak for themselves. She has put her position out that, you know what, she is on the side of Trump, that side of law and order. Do you agree with the Prime Minister's position and posture on the current situation?
I am not here to go on the side of Trump or Maduro. I'm not here to support Caracas or Maracas. Well, maybe Maracas on a Sunday. the point is that what we are seeing here.
But is the language, Gary? Is her position?
Is the language, yeah. Fair enough. But if we go back to the last time the CARICOM unified was when I was in command of administration, finance, welfare for 300 CARICOM troops in 6 countries under securing Haiti with United Nations, and CARICOM was never so united. We actually centralized and said, let us support our CARICOM neighbor. My take on it is it should not be every man for himself. We cannot be in a situation where our neighbor's house is on fire and we're just deciding to wet ours. And that's what some people are hoping and trying to hope that we'll do with Guyana. Let Guyana burn and we worry about ourselves. No, we'll wet all the wetting we could do. If it happens to Guyana, it is going to happen to Trinidad and Tobago. I would hope that the same thing that CARICOM did in how it is we dealt with looking after Haiti's to secure their democracy, we must do the same to support Guyana wholeheartedly. And there are 1 or 2 islands in the Caribbean that again have that enormous support for Cuba and Venezuela. We know the prime ministers. But so there will always be persons with a degree of bias. My thing is for level-headed thinking and to understand that if it happens to Guyana yesterday, tomorrow it could happen to you. We must be our brother's keeper. And I agree that what should happen is not each person for himself, the Prime Minister would have said. I would hope that all of CARICOM will understand the mannerism that we are seeing of Trinidad and Tobago to support Guyana wholeheartedly to ensure that if you touch one, you touch all.
Well, as always, Mr. Griffith, sincere thanks for the time. Very passionate conversation this morning. And just like you and everyone looking on, we're going to keep our eyes on this story. And I hope diplomacy takes center stage, honestly. I don't want any kind of conflict. This is a region of peace, Gary. I don't think we have the capacity. And I don't think ultimately, Gary, we have the belly. Yes, we have well-trained soldiers. And I know you was part of that fabric. But I'm still asking who is willing to die for Trinidad and Tobago, this red, white, and black. And I still can't get the answer from many people, especially people in uniform.
Well, you're looking at one right now. We're not speaking to one.
I know that. I know that for sure. Gary, all the best. We'll touch base soon.
Take care.
Let's take the pause. We come back with your daily health tip after the pause. See you soon.
Shop at JD's exclusive for new arrivals in workwear. Fresh styles for the workday hustle, plus the latest collection in Brazilian footwear, plus bags and accessories, all at the lowest prices. JD's exclusive, Princestown, San Fernando, Rio Claro, Gasper Mall, and M6 Plaza Chaguanas. Your low price headquarters, JD's.
Need to upgrade to a better phone system? Contact the experts at Voice Outsourcing. In office or remote, our phone system allows you to take every call. Grow your bottom line by offering excellent customer service. Call 217-1895 or 628-8182 or email today.
Great deals with PRW Back to School. Save big with laptops starting from $3,100. Sky 7-inch tablet only $465. Need a printer? We've got it starting from $625. Get a 40-inch RCA TV only $1,850. 19.5-inch LG monitor $699. Secure your home with our security combo starting from $3,000. Call PRW today 285-9779. Check us in store Depot for keyboards, webcams, stationery, and lots more.
Van der Waal, powering industry, fueling progress. Reliable fuel pumps, meters and nozzles. From dock to deck, marine tools, hoses, PPE and fittings. Hydraulic, automotive and food-grade oils and lubricants. For all your manufacturing needs. Pallet jacks, intrinsically safe tools and more. Browse livestock and prices on our website at www.vanderwailtt.com. Visit us today.
You can tell from the crowd who's up next. It's Trinray's star player, whose world-class stats put him in a league of his own. Trinray's risen to become a true force to be reckoned with. With an unbeaten Carry A rating, they boast a strong solvency and A-class service. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing Trinray's financial and technical strength at its best.
Trinray, premier insurance coverage for less.
Minutes moving up to 7 o'clock on this Monday morning. Let's check in with Omega XL for your daily health tip. Enjoy.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth. For millions of people living with asthma, even something as simple as going for a jog can become a struggle. Exercise-induced bronchoconstriction, or EIB, affects up to 90% of asthma sufferers. It's a condition where physical activity causes the airways to narrow, making it hard to breathe and even harder to enjoy life. While medications are effective, they sometimes come with side effects, such as rapid heartbeat, shakiness, or tremors, especially with high doses. That's why more and more people are turning to natural options that complement traditional treatments. Omega XL is a powerful natural supplement rich in omega-3 fatty acids, the kind that reduce inflammation, support lung function, and help you breathe easier. Backed by science, Omega XL's unique formula helps to reduce airway inflammation, improve breathing after exercise, lower reliance on asthma medication, and decrease the substances that make breathing harder. The truth is, our modern diets are overloaded with omega-6 fats, which can fuel inflammation. Omega XL helps rebalance that, providing your body with omega-3s from the green-lipped mussel, a source shown to deliver results without the fishy aftertaste or digestive discomfort. One study found that pharmaceutical-grade omega-3 fatty acids significantly reduced airway hyperresponsiveness and the need for medication in athletes with EIB. That's the power of omega-3s, and that's the promise of Omega XL. You shouldn't have to choose between movement and comfort. With Omega XL, you don't have to. Fuel your lungs with nature's anti-inflammatory. Omega XL, available nationwide at your nearest pharmacy. Because asthma shouldn't stop your movement. Always consult with a trained medical professional before taking any supplements. The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Where health is wealth. Give thanks, Omega XL. Let's, of course, get ready for the 7 a.m. news update. After the news update, we come back with your calls. See you soon.
Established in 1984, Telecom Security Services is the best in cash in transit with our armored vehicles with impeccable record. Featuring 24-hour surveillance to protect our clients' valuables. This is asset security that's equipped and efficient. From a modern head office, we deliver quality and trust, mitigating risk. Operational excellence with highly trained and dedicated staff. The best cost-driven security solution. Telecom Security Services.
So I hear Beta Homes has the best kitchens.
You heard right. We have Shaker style, modern Euro, and hardwood.
I like this one. Can I test it right here, right now?
Sure, but how are you gonna do that?
All right, you all, come inside. Are you ready?
Time's alive! Oh, a spice rack.
Soft close door hinges. Oh, this countertop's nice, well.
It's hot enough. So, what do you think?
Well, this
100%.
is it. I'll take it. Build the kitchen you love for less at Beta Homes, Caroni or French Street.
Get the best in affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
Welcome to RD Good Health Medical Center, your trusted partner in total wellness. We're conveniently located at 34B Southern Main Road, Montrose, Chaguanas. From consultations to diagnostics, vaccinations, and women's health, we're here for you. Our cutting-edge tech includes a 124-slice CT scanner, X-ray, ultrasound, and full lab services to ensure you get everything under one roof. Plus, our dialysis center offers expert, affordable care. RD Good Health, caring for you every step of the way. Contact us at 223-3730 or WhatsApp 725-4663 today.
Science calls it AMPK, your body's built-in system for burning fat, balancing blood sugar, and fueling energy. Berberine Plus naturally supports AMPK, helping you feel better, live better, be better. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, powerful results naturally.
My own personal motto is to show citizens of this country that our stories can be told in a professional and international standard. I want to show them that the journalism they consume on cable TV can also exist here. Each day, that's my focus, that's my drive, to show the stories of our communities, of our people, matter just as much as anywhere else in the world. That's why we are where you are.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today. Ask the Doctor's new season is here as Dr. Joel Tilak Singh covers a range of topics and, most importantly, answers all your medical questions.
Join us on Ask the Doctor live on CNC3 on Thursdays at a new time of 8:30 p.m. with a rerun on Fridays at 11 a.m.
Good morning. I'm Jen Sullivan with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has drawn sharp criticism from local and regional experts after declaring full support for the U.S. military assets in the Caribbean, pledging to back Washington against transnational crime and even offering the country as a launching pad should Venezuela attack Guyana. One CARICOM leader is adamant that the bloc should speak as a unit. UWI Professor Christopher Charles is warning the Prime Minister against isolating TNT from its Caribbean neighbors.
I think the Trinidadian Prime Minister and the government in general is really playing up to Trump to ensure that whatever he does, Trinidad and Tobago comes out on the side that is much better than others.
Professor Charles suggests this may be a part of a bigger picture, one that could pave the way for U.S. intervention in Venezuela. Councillor for Bagatelle Blue Basin in the Diego Martin Borough Corporation, Alina Wren, says she is aware of several uncovered manholes along the North Post Road. She says they are waiting the materials to fix them. Residents say they are fed up of waiting. They said earlier this year a bus destroyed some of the remaining slabs and many people have fallen into the holes, especially when the river overflows into the roadway, hiding them. There is also a primary school along the road. Those children often purposefully walk in the road to avoid the uncovered manholes. Wren says work will commence once materials are received. This is welcome news for one resident who said he was about to take matters into his own hands.
I clean out the whole base, put out all the blocks that fall in the hole, take it out and I make plant tip on the side of the road and plant plants. Recently I was going and cover it with ply, but the ply wasn't making sense because the ply will deteriorate and people will get damaged more. So I don't know what the government could do.
The residents are also calling for the retaining wall on the North Post Road to be completed and for improved garbage collection in the area, especially next to the River Estate Museum. New Vice President of the Trinidad and Tobago Red Cross Society, Edward Moody, says the new executive is committed to transparency and pledged to review concerns raised during Saturday's election. Speaking to CNC3 News, Moody denied the elections were flawed and says the new executive plans to review the 2 objections made by members. He says soon after the new president, Anne-Marie Kwame Alain, was elected, she met with the people who objected and promised to review the matter. CNC3 News understands that some senior executive members tried to stop Saturday's elections at Hillview College in El Dorado because they believed it wasn't transparent. They also said they received the list of nominees on the day of election. Ahead of the election, the International Federation of the Red Cross found that the organization was facing serious management, financial, and governance challenges. But Moody believes the election process was smooth. Those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
Deleting dengue, brought to you by Flamingo, a mosquito's kryptonite.
Tip number 7. Use mosquito repellents. Apply insect repellent on exposed skin to prevent mosquito bites.
Let me tell you, as we get into the second hour, this development is dominating so much discussions in the maxis, taxis, in the market, in the workplace. People are keeping their eyes on this development, and the former Prime Minister, he is weighing in. Now, on his Facebook page, Dr. Keith Rowley, he shared a post criticizing former Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar on, well, and her administration. Now, while it seems it may not be his direct words, it appears Dr. Rowley shared the similar sentiments on this particular post written by commentator Michael Edmund Danny. Now, the commentator, he described the UNC government's stance as, quote, the most reckless foreign policy statement we have seen in years, end quote. Danny argued that the announcement signaled Trinidad and Tobago's open alignment with Washington at the expense of the CARICOM community and CARICOM unity, warning that the declaration that, quote, each member state can speak for themselves, end quote, because remember I mentioned that just now with Gary. The commentator says that effectively dismantled, not my words, he says it dismantled decades of collective diplomacy. Now, the post shared suggestions, and well, the post shared suggested that the UNC had been echoing Trump-style rhetoric for years and framed Persad-Bissessar's leadership as transactional and unpatriotic. Rowley, however, Dr. Rowley, in his words, blasted Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar's surprise announcement that her government supports a U.S. military presence in the Caribbean and would allow warships access to Trinidad and Tobago if Venezuela attacked Guyana. Rowley accused Mrs. Persad-Bissessar of abandoning decades of regional diplomacy and aligning with Washington's Monroe Doctrine. He recalled in 2019 when CARICOM leaders rejected ultimatums, engaged the UN, and spearheaded accords that brought Nicolas Maduro and Guyana's Dr. Irfan Ali face to face. Remember that meeting in St. Vincent, I believe it was? Of course, he argues that, that decision prevented war and calmed the tensions. Dr. Rowley warned that legacy is now being discarded and that Trinidad and Tobago has set our foreign policy alight as a beacon to Monroe Doctrine. He also shared a viral post calling the UNC government stance, quote, again, his words, not mine, the most reckless foreign policy statement in years, end quote. So again, it's all part of the discussion, all part of what is happening at this point in time, but most importantly, I want to hear from you this morning. Again, just sharing with you all that's happening, all that's going on in the space, and everybody giving their commentary. Of course, Gary Griffith gave his sentiments earlier on. We heard from David Abdullah. That's who Gary was talking about earlier when he mentioned there's a political leader who will back Curacao in front of Trinidad and Tobago. David Abdullah, right, the political leader of the Movement for Social Justice, he says, well, it's a statement, you know. It's a statement, and he kind of basically, he went in hard. He went in hard on Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Let's hear from Dabadi. Dabadi, get in the conversation. Good morning.
Hi, JLB. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you. On Friday night when I was watching the news, I heard the Minister of Foreign Affairs said that Trinidad and Tobago remained neutral. And, you know, they had a good portion in you saying that, but so I was so happy to hear that we stand neutral. Now, I was happy to hear it. Yes, I thought that, you know, we would have sided with CARICOM, right? To say, well, okay, we're going along with whatever the CARICOM nation say. Oh, lo and behold, to hear the Prime Minister say now that the government will back the USA. Now, that, to me, should kind of take away something from the Caribbean region, you know, because CARICOM is a body and they make certain decisions, and it's not like, to me, not like long ago when CARICOM was like not doing nothing, but I find it has been in the news making certain decisions, you know, the Prime Minister of Barbados and St. Vincent, you know, and everything is like one. CARICOM is one nation. We should not, even with Guyana's problem with Venezuela, they all rallied, even though we rallied behind Guyana against Venezuela, it was like we back in America to do certain things. So Mrs. Persad-Bissessar's comments, I find is not in keeping with CARICOM, you know? And I find it too much of a hard stance to let America come here. And I agree with you, see David Abdullah? He would be in the news right through the day. So, Jada, we have a wonderful day.
Same to you, Dabadi. Thanks so much for the commentary. Yeah, by all means, you know, this is a chance for you to get in. Because this is a very significant development. These guys didn't leave the U.S. to come down here on no cruise, you know. Let's head to Central. Good morning, Central.
A pleasant good morning, Jason.
Good morning, my brother. Welcome.
Thank you. Jason, in life, right, we all have to know who are our allies and who are our enemies. We all have to know as to who is helping us from who is hurting us. Understand what I'm saying, right?
Enemy is a strong word, you know. If you're trying to use... hold on. I'm going to let you finish. But if you're using the word enemy to describe Venezuela, brother, you start off real bad. Because how your enemy...
I never said Venezuela is our enemy. I never said Venezuela is our enemy.
No, so who's the enemy then? Who's the enemy?
All right, listen to me good.
No, answer me that question now. Who's the enemy?
Listen, Jason. I made this call here, and I am speaking.
I know, but I'm asking you a direct question. Who is your friend and who's the enemy in this scenario?
Assuming and presuming. I am making a point here, right? Stop assuming and presuming. What I am saying to you here, Jason, you're still there, right?
Yeah, right here.
What I am saying to you is that is anybody in CARICOM, listen to me good, is anybody in CARICOM willing to take the same stance that the Americans are willing to take relevant to the protection of Guyana against Venezuela? Nobody is willing. Listen to me good what I'm saying to you here, right? When we want betterment, where we just go Venezuela, we just go to the States. What kind of money you want in your pocket? You want Venezuelan money in your pocket or US dollars in your pocket? Understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Our next door neighbor, which is Venezuela in this case, we have to look out for them, and we are looking out for them as best as we can. But if it is that our next door neighbors are causing potential threat to our CARICOM neighbors, then how patriotic from a CARICOM perspective are we, right, by not allowing the facilitation of some sort of protection in order to get to Guyana as for where this Venezuelan, this Maduro dictatorship is concerned? We have to understand, listen to me good, we have to understand who is the stance that if it is that, listen to me good, by we saying that, you know what, we're going to allow the United States to come in here and to set on standby in the event that anything take place, you know what we are doing there? We are holding ties with the United States. Now, if Venezuela ever decides to invade Trinidad and Tobago, right? Listen to me good. You know what these states, we could ever call on the U.S. for any help? You know, but they would say, nah, them is partners, them just fighting, there's a cell comfort, leave them, don't help Trinidad at all. That is what they would say. Could we ever call on Venezuela for any assistance relevant to anything? Jason, let me tell you something. People need to get their head out of the box and realize what is going on here.
No problem.
If it is you want to tell me that Venezuela is next door to us, but them could come and kill and rape your children, then
so again,
and you go say, you know what, them right here, boy.
So I hear you, and I'm always glad when you call. But so my assumption is correct. So Venezuela is indeed the enemy in this scenario.
What would you say?
No, it's either yes or no. Let me start beating the bush. I'm asking you, is Venezuela the enemy?
Of course they are.
All right, that's what I wanted to find out. That's what I wanted to find out.
And let me tell you, Jason, let me tell you this, right? Yeah. For all those who do not like what's going on, let them leave the country here and go over to Venezuela and live.
No,
let them go over to Venezuela. Don't go to the States, eh? Don't go to the States. Go over to Venezuela and only live there.
Bro, listen, you're spot on, you know, because what you're saying is not inaccurate, you know. I just wanted to kind of confirm as to who was the enemy in this scenario. But it's just unfortunate, though, because obviously I'll hold a strain there because I want to get the next call in and I'll make my commentary concerning that enemy discussion in a few. Because that's a very strong word, huh? That in itself creates a certain mindset towards not only a country, but the people from that country. And we have to realize that we can't get tied up with the rhetoric that we're hearing from outside. But I'll come to that in a few. Let's get the next caller in. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, brother.
Yes, man. Welcome.
And good morning to the two major races on our land here called Kairi.
Mm-hmm.
Trinidad is a sister to Venezuela way back when our people settled here with all the 14 different tribes. The northern range, where their main bases, where all those cocoa estates, cocoa, coffee, you name it, were planted by the Waraos from Venezuela. There is a statue upon Sawa Hill, Venezuela. He was a Warao war chief. He came here and joined forces with Hairima.
Yeah, that's on the old road opposite Job Avenue.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather came here by a donkey cart to purchase pine and cotton in those years gone.
Mm-hmm.
Which means we were joined by the dragon mouth, where the history of this land gone. The same way how Kick and Jenny erupted under the ocean and sank islands all over the Caribbean chain. What these little children in school learning about Venezuela? Why the American white eyes do not remove the sanctions and things they have on the people land? Is the wealth they behind? Another important thing, Granny do not know how much Venezuelan family born here, that's from there. And that's a very dangerous button to press. You don't want no white eye setting up no hit on Venezuela from here, right? Leave the people business with the white eye alone. See about what she promised the country here, the poor people here. That is the important thing right now.
No, I hear you call and you're spot on, huh?
This CARICOM thing, let me finish. This CARICOM thing, if she continue like that, if the CARICOM people decide not to take our goods here, what mess we going to be in?
Well, let me ask you this, though.
Have a good day, brother.
Oh, where are you going? Because I was going to ask you, kind of similar to what Shagona's mentioned just now. As much as I understand and I listen to all parts of this argument, the reality is, I guess, what choice? Lots of people asking, what choice does the Prime Minister really have in this situation? Because if you had to really choose between, I guess, Venezuela, and I will never describe them as enemy. I think that is a bit, that's a bad calculation. You know, enemy is a strong word, and I mean, if your enemies, if your neighbor is your enemy, you're already on a bad footing right there. And again, we have to consider lots of the rhetoric we get is from Western media, and you have to be able to sift through the noise. You know, not saying Maduro is some nice guy and the greatest leader of all time. Clearly, the Venezuelan people will have a different, especially the ones who are here, will have a different scenario concerning that man. But clearly, we have to be very, very careful in this scenario. Very careful. Santa Cruz, good morning.
Yeah, morning, Jay. I realize the topic hot this morning. And I'm in a hot area. As such, I want to denounce the Prime Minister's statement and also the Foreign Affairs Minister when collectively ALBA make a statement with respect to a zone of peace. One of the things we have to recognize is that who are our neighbors, who are our friends, and I never saw in my lifetime at Venezuela as any enemy, because I know that Trinidad used to go down Margarita and shop and that kind of thing and remain a zone of peace and friends. And even Kamala Prasad-Bissau ended up saying Venezuela is our friends. The U.S. have a habit of creating problems, diverting people's attention for something else. And if you could throw your mind back to the Iraq war with America, when they talk about weapons of mass destruction, and they went into Iraq looking for weapons of mass destruction, there never was any weapons of mass destruction.
I spoke about that this morning, Santa Cruz.
If you throw your mind back to Panama, when Noriega had an issue with America and the Panama Canal, they raised the same issue with drugs, and they went into Panama and they arrested him. I want you all to understand that, and I want Mr. Chaguanas and all these people to understand that they have a tendency of creating a problem and divert the attention to something else. Venezuela is important to America because of gas and oil. And that is what the issue is about, gas and oil. So I thought that our Prime Minister would have been sensitive enough to recognize that the threat to Venezuela would create a problem for us indirectly, and that the borders should have been protected in terms of Venezuelans wanting to flock to Trinidad, and including people who we may not want to come here. So I think the statement is an understatement. And to try to deviate from our CARICOM colleagues, I believe Gonzalez said it correct. Let us make a statement as one, and don't try to be the individualist that Kamala Prasad-Bissau and the government minister trying to be. This is Mr. Santa Cruz signing off. Thank you, Jay.
Oliver Santa Cruz, I mean, everybody is coming in solid this morning. And again, going back to what Shagonas mentioned, the reality is many of us, including myself, you do business in the U.S., you have family there. The tie is a bit stronger with the U.S. I mean, that's the reality compared to Venezuela. I mean, we have multiple flights leaving every single day to continental America. New York, Florida, you name it. Houston. But enemy, that's a strong one. And we can't put our minds there because we're starting already on the wrong foot. Let's head to the Southland. I believe Pleasantville is standing by. Good morning, Pleasantville.
Good morning, Jason.
Morning, my brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jason, you know what we have to bear in mind in all of this is that the U.S. cares only about their interests and nothing else, nobody else. Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, no one else. And if it is that, you know, they say, Jason, friends don't let friends drive drunk. And this sort of propagandistic mechanism that the U.S. operates under, you cannot trust them. They are coming telling you under the disguise of that they are looking for narco-terrorism and drug trafficking, but their aim is on Venezuela. Listen, no international court declared Maduro a criminal. Netanyahu was declared a criminal. There's a warrant out for Netanyahu arrest. Why isn't his warships up there? Now, you see, Jason, we don't understand to support a sort of military flotilla that the U.S. is going to bring in our shores. Who is supplying them with all this fuel and all this that they would need to operate in this region? Who is refining oil in this region here? Yes, Guyana has oil. Venezuela probably has oil, but what about the refined products? You know, this is nonsense. You cannot for 1 minute believe this is UNC's logic that you are picking sides on an issue instead of offer solutions. You are there offering a sort of a vengeance and supporting people who you know what they are. You know what the U.S. are. You are seeing the chaos that they are causing in the world today. And Russia and China has already warned, in Trump's first term, warned him about going into Venezuela because they have interest there.
Well, I was not going to tell you nobody watching the sleeping giant, which is China. I mean, Russia already has their hands tied up with Ukraine, but you see China pelt real money into Venezuela.
They have interest there, and they tell you that. So if you are coming here, rather than offer solutions and bring peace, you don't bring listen, Trinidad and Tobago, any war starts there, the sparks are going to fly here, Jason.
Oh, yeah.
Sparks are going to fly here, and if you are a base to the U.S., your base is going to be attacked. It's plain and simple.
Yeah.
This is dangerous what the Prime Minister has done. It should be condemned across the region. Thanks.
Take it easy, Pleasantville. Let's head deeper south to Faisabad. Faizo! Oh, God.
Yes, sir.
Faizo, my partner.
How are you doing?
I good, you know. I'm listening. Faizo?
Hello.
Yes, Faizo. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Jason, morning.
Morning.
Listen, you know, I hear them bandying the word about sovereignty all the time. Do you remember in the days gone by as a Southman, you must know that because you're close to Venezuela in the ring. When they used to be boarding with oil rigs off Soldado?
Yeah, I've heard of the stories.
So they always have that tendency to want to bully. Venezuela really want to own, They want to own the Caribbean, whether you believe it yes or no. And what is amazing and surprising to me, I hear all these people and the contribution, which I respect. But I remember when there was the issue in Guyana with Granger and Company. You remember the elections?
I was probably too small to be aware of it.
Just recently.
Oh, recently? Okay.
Yes. When Dr. Keith Rowley said he was not going to get involved in the issues in Guyana.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
They fall under CARICOM, isn't it? So they had an issue here. You know, Dr. Rowley washed his hands from it. It was Mia Motley who had to get involved and kind of sort the thing out through the CCJ. You remember that?
Yeah, as you recall, yeah.
Good. So we're talking sovereignty here. So where was the support for the Guyana free and fair elections when that was happening? Everybody was standing back. I remember the Honorable Gaston Brown when they were having an issue with Sanders in the Caribbean and how Sanders were advantaging the citizens of the various countries that they go to. And Gaston Brown made a statement that while Antigua Barbuda is refusing to accommodate Sanders at that point in time, they'd have a not-so-smart prime minister trying to fight to get it. So they were going against each other.
So, Faizo, the burning question is, how does all this tie back into the current situation?
And so, where are we? Where are we, Jason? We have, I am certain, over 40,000 residents living in America. Yes? Now, we have to be very
40,000 as in what? Trinidadians?
Yeah, I just say that.
No, more than that, man. More than that. More. Hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands.
I'm just using that figure. So we decide that, we're going to give them no access and we're taking a position. What they're asking us to do is take a position on this. And so with Donald Trump at the helm, and you start a mass deportation. Because Trinidad failed to cooperate or failed to be neutral. And what the Prime Minister is saying, hey, if it's narco, if we suggest that they're trying to help counter our problems, because we will have runoff effects where we will benefit from it if it is true that they're going after the narco traffickers and what have you. Not so?
Well, so that's the story to tell us. But Faizo, here what's going on. We have, Faizo, here what? I want to stick up in because I have to run to interview now, but I want you to continue on this point tomorrow because I know you normally get through every single morning. I want you to develop a little bit more and let's see if anything changes between now to tomorrow. So Faizo, it was a pleasure. Central, Pleasantville, Santa Cruz, Dabadi. We got a call there too from, he never identified where he was from, but he clearly is of Venezuelan heritage. And he celebrated all that Venezuela brought and continue to bring to our table. Let's take the pause. We come back after the break with historian Dr. Jerome Tiloksing. Our history and significance as TNT turns 63 in a couple days. Well, that discussion up next.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chagonas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, BRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chagonas, building value every day.
Some nights call for more than just a slice. At Rizzoni's, we serve pizza the way it was meant to be. Brick-fired, old, and brought out fresh, again and again. This is all you can eat, Rizzoni style, where the pizzas come to you. Crisp crusts, rich sauce, melty cheese, every round with new toppings, new flavors, and no limit. Every Friday from 4 p.m. Join us at Movie Town, Fiesta Plaza, Port of Spain, or C3 Movie Town, San Fernando. So go ahead, stay for that next slice. We'll keep them coming.
Get the best back-to-school specials at Southern Food Basket. Socks and Pretty paper towels, 3-pack, 2 for $29.95. Snuggle napkins, 250s, 2 for $22.95. Quicks 300 ml, 3 for $24.95. Western corned beef, 2 for $28.95. Blue Ribbon chicken franks, 450 grams, 2 for $26.95. Blue Ribbon turkey bologna, 200 grams, 3 for $24.95. Available at Southern Food Basket. Offers available while stocks last.
Whether you're an athlete, a business professional, or simply someone who values their health, Omega XL can empower you to keep doing what you love. Don't let joint discomfort hold you back.
Live long, stay strong with the XL brand.
Muscle Russell.
Wait, you thought Christmas in July was over? Think again. Bright Ideas is slaying it till September. The deals you love are still here. Kitchen must-haves, home decor, and back-to-school steals. Plus the best prices on stationery. Get 12 copybooks for just $12.99. Copyright paper only $29.99. And 6 notebooks for $18.99. Plus so much more. Shop in-store or online at brightideashomestore.com. But hurry, these deals melt away September 9th.
Historian Dr. Jerome Tiloksing joins me on the Zoom line as we count down to 63, our independence celebration. A bit tempered this time around, but still everyone will, in their own way, celebrate and recognize this very important occasion, Independence, Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Tiloksing, as always, good morning, happy Independence, and I want to get into, of course, discussions on the significance of the occasion. Great to have you, as always, on the program.
Thank you again for having me, and good morning to your viewers and listeners.
Let's get into the significance. Of course, we know the history. We know that on this day, 63 years ago, well, the 31st at least, the Union Jack came down to hoist. You know, the Union Jack went down and then went up. The red, white, and black, and we see the black and white footage there, right, mere meters away by Parliament building. And that heralded and I guess gave us the mandate to go forward and you know, like when you get independence from your parents, you go out into the world and you find your way. How you think the journey has been thus far, Trinidad at 63? Have we found our way?
To tell you the truth, I feel that we had a rocky road. Yes, we had some milestones, you know, like when we had our first Miss Universe, we had Hazley Crawford winning that gold medal, we had Brian Lara breaking those records, you know, we had V.S. Naipaul winning Nobel Prize, but there were incidents. We had Black Power in 1970 that showed a lot of discontent amongst our people. During the 1990s into the 21st century, we had foreigners in charge of important positions. As some of your viewers might know, we had a foreigner who was the local head of the Roman Catholic Church. We had a foreigner who was the police commissioner. We had a foreigner in charge of UDCOT. So we had incidents where I think foreign seems better than local, and I think this wasn't good for many of our citizens to see that as an independent country, we were using foreigners.
Isn't that part of, I guess, the colonial conditioning that will take a little while, probably a couple generations to get out of the mental space? Because you're so spot on. We would know somebody's good, but it's only when outside gives you that accolade. And outside the US, England, Europe, they give you a particular medal or they recognize you on the world stage, I guess, then we say, hey, but they're really good, boy. I don't know, is that part of the mental block, the colonial, the spirit of colonial times still very much in the fabric of the society?
Many of us have been brainwashed, and that is why we have young people going abroad. That brain drain we still have. We still believe that it's only when we get that stamp of approval from abroad that we are considered good, we are considered excellent. And recent incidents like the United States military presence in the Caribbean during this time of independence should really make us question ourselves. Are we truly independent? How is the Caribbean as an independent region, most of us, how are we going to deal with this situation?
Indeed, because that's a development, and I guess all that's on the heel, as you rightfully said, of our Independence Day, and the parade is being cancelled. Some are even suggesting that, again, we don't know, we could only assume, but some are suggesting that that probably could have been one of the reasons, because this, they believe, would have been in the pipeline for a good little while before the public gained knowledge of this U.S. military asset and this intervention in the space. But on that cancellation, what's your take on that? Is there any major significance, any sense of patriotism or national lift with a military parade? Because there are some who are now saying, well, they don't like guns, they find it was this, they find it something of the colonial past with man just marching in uniform. They don't see the relevance of it in 2025. I didn't even know that was an argument, to be quite honest, because since I've known myself, you know, Independence morning, you put on your TV or you go down in person and see our armed officers do their march and they go down Traglick Road and people like yourself. What's your take on the cancellation?
I've been hearing from the public different angles. Some people believe that the cancellation of the fireworks might help with animals. You know, animals are usually terrified. Some die during this time and get lost. So that some people believe that, you know, pets and animals might benefit. Some people are saying it will save the taxpayers millions of dollars. You know, we haven't really questioned the cost. You know, what is the cost of these parades? And then finally, some people believe, and most importantly, that the recent death threats that ministers have received makes it even more critical that we protect the lives of our politicians, our president, and the lives of our civilians, so that we are not sure. We have this issue of drones and things. We are not sure, you know, how these criminal elements would react on that day.
Well, I mean, a criminal would have to be extremely brave to run up on any public official in a sea of officers in uniform with guns. I mean, you'll have to be a real commando to try to approach anybody in that kind of setting. But I'm just trying to see the correlation between the parade and a sense of national pride. Is there any correlation at all? Could one even find a link between officers marching in uniform and that sense of patriotism? Is there any link at all?
You know, it's a good question, because it could be a segment of our patriotism, right? But that marching for a few hours on one day cannot determine the rest of the year. I think patriotism has to be deeper than that. It cannot be something superficial as a parade. That parade was there since we had a Governor General from 1962 to 1976. It continued after we became a republic. But I want the public to ask themselves, with the next generation, our school children, do they know the words of the national anthem? Do all our children in primary school know the national birds? Do they know the motto? Do they know the national instrument? Could they recognize our national birds? So I think that we need to also look at other elements that made us an independent country, other national symbolism. I think the parade is one element, and we cannot just believe that is 100% patriotism. Look at the way we treat our environment. Look at the murder rate. That should tell you, that should be a barometer to measure the levels of patriotism in this country.
You know, when I look at countries that hold a strong sense of national pride and that national posture, I look at people from France, Great Britain, even the US to an extent, right? Grenada, Barbados, Jamaica. I recognize there's one common denominator. They all went through some kind of disaster, whether it was man-made, via war, or it was a natural disaster. And for some reason, when you're on ground zero, and everybody from uptown to downtown looking for the same basics, which is water and just a meal, people tend to build and grow together, and they tend to have this kind of brotherhood, sisterhood, fellowship. I think in my lifetime, probably the worst moment, I think, in my 46 years of life would have been in 1990 for those 6 days in Iku. That was the only time of uncertainty. I wasn't alive in the Black Power movement in 1970. We wasn't around for the water riots, obviously. So I try to figure out, I don't want something to happen for us to come to that place, but do you think that we have had a nice ride and we don't really know struggle? That's why we don't really feel that sense of patriotism. I'm just trying to think out the box here right now.
You are correct, You are correct. And I believe that many of us seem to take independence for granted. Many of us often seem ungrateful of the sacrifices that were made by our ancestors. And you mentioned certain incidents. After 9/11 in the United States, Americans were looking for God. They became very united after that terrorist attack. And I've noticed that after the American Revolution, French Revolution, even the Cuban Revolution, Grenada Revolution with Maurice Bishop, there was a sense of unity. So sometimes when it takes something bad for a level of good to happen, a level of patriotism and nationalism. And I'm not calling anything bad on the country, but we need to ensure that we are patriotic, nationalistic, without a bad event, without something serious happening.
Well, of course, the pan, we can celebrate the pan instrument we brought to the world, but what else you think that is of world acclaim, that is from Trinidad and Tobago, that you've seen in your lifetime the world embrace and hold on to and they can't get enough of?
You know, it's strange to say that, but I've noticed when I went to areas like Miami and Florida, I'm seeing doubles, our food there, you know, being made, and I've also seen a lot of West Indian shops. So I think our cuisine is being exported abroad in a certain way. Our carnivals, our culture, it has made a permanent mark in many developed countries. I'm even seeing that foreigners are coming down here to study our linguistics, our language, our Creole, how we speak, so that I'm seeing certain aspects being studied. And, you know, of course, I'm also seeing that the way in which the region is developing in terms of sport, T20 sports recently, I'm seeing this growing interest in our contribution to sports. So I'm seeing the world taking notice of us.
Indeed, well said. You know, since I've known myself, you grew up hearing the father of the nation is Dr. Eric Williams. I often wondered who's the mother of the nation. I was never. Are we still looking for a mom? Are we motherless? Because I know we have an auntie. They call the current Prime Minister Auntie Cams. I don't know if she will transition from auntie to mom at some point. I don't know, but I just try to figure out. You know, are we a motherless nation? Who you'll consider the mother of the nation?
I'm glad you mentioned that because people would have different views. If you ask a trade unionist might talk about maybe somebody like Audrey Jeffers, right? She did a lot of good social work. So it all depends who you're asking. You know, somebody from the opposition might disagree totally if we believe that, you know, the Prime Minister will be the mother of the nation. It all depends from our perspective. In India, a lot of people saw Indira Gandhi, you know, as the mother of the nation. So it depends. A place like England, many people would have seen somebody like Margaret Thatcher. Some people would disagree and say the Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So it all depends who you're asking that question to.
Yeah, no, that's a little naughty one there because I've always, you know, you hear about the father of the nation, but yeah, so if there's a father, they must have a mother. Who's the mother? But nonetheless, I'll give you a chance as we wrap things up in a couple of seconds to send your independence greetings to Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Tiloxin. Go right ahead.
I would like, you know, our country to put aside their differences, not just for one day, but throughout the year and in the future, to break down barriers, get rid of stereotypes, and to treat our people equally. A lot of times I've been seeing in the news that promotions are being challenged in court. People are, you know, feeling a lot of injustice. I would like to see where we become a truly independent nation, where we could start using the Caribbean Court of Justice and remove use of the Privy Council. These are blatant signs that we are not yet truly independent.
Dr. Tiloxin, as always, a sincere thanks and happy independence to you.
Thank you.
That's right. We take a pause. We come back and get into some details concerning a great production happening at the Little Carib Theatre. The Mighty Kobo. That's right. That's the production. It's a charity play. And we get some details after the break.
Van der Waal, powering industry, fueling progress. Reliable fuel pumps, meters and nozzles. From dock to deck, marine tools, hoses, PPE and fittings. Hydraulic, automotive and food-grade oils and lubricants. For all your manufacturing needs. Pallet jacks, intrinsically safe tools and more. Browse live stock and prices on our website at www.vanderwaaltt.com. Visit us today.
Every day at the castle, long before we open our doors, our work begins. Our famous seasonings are mixed in advance. We select our fresh chicken parts and prep our delicious sides. Then we fire up the fryers and rotisserie oven. Everything is made with tasty local herbs, spices, and the same long-loved recipe since 1968. So, when you come in, remember that we uphold our culture and our taste just for you. We are your Royal Castle.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Great deals with PRW Back to School. Save big with laptops starting from $3,100. Sky 7-inch tablet only $465. Need a printer? We've got it starting from $625. Get a 40-inch RCA TV only $1,850. 19.5-inch LG monitor $699. Secure your home with our security combo starting from $3,000. Call PRW today 285-9779. Check us in store for keyboards, webcams, stationery, and lots more.
There's a new Cricks back with colors that pop. Yeah, say colors.
colors that pop. Same great cricks that's in all your shops. T-shop, all your shops. Fresh new look, delicious to see. It looks so good, it's delicious to see. With toppers on top of time, I'm real hungry.
Yeah, boy, real hungry.
Cricks, new pack is a hit. Best food, yeah, so no sick. Ready for the shorting to fix your mix? Just reach for the new pack. Reach for your cricks. Get your cricks today. New look, same vital supplies.
This Java bring the whole family to La Vega Estate, Trinidad's #1 family-friendly destination, open daily, including weekends and public holidays. La Vega is more than Trinidad's leading garden center. It's packed with fun for everyone. New this season, thrilling ATV tours for the adventure seekers, plus 2 large pools, fishing, nature trails, playgrounds, and more. Camp under the night sky. Make a booking for an unforgettable family getaway. Call or WhatsApp 714-5969 to plan your next adventure today.
Food Basket Marketplace is celebrating our 34th anniversary for the month of August, and you're invited. Massive deals like big deal peas and carrots, big deal kidney beans, buy 3 tins, get 1 free. Port Royal oil, 900 ml, buy 3, get 1 free. Buy 12 packs of toilet paper and get a pack of napkins free. Come and shop to win in one of our 34 shopping sprees. Big giveaways and free hampers to be won. Only at Food Basket Marketplace, Orima, Chaguanas, Shop Flair, and Goldfield. Food Basket, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right. Food Basket, the nation's #1 supermarket.
Right, we are. So yeah, well, anyway, let me bring Julian in. Julian will tell you the whole, because there's apparently a production name here that we'll get into, but he is indeed our the producer for the Mighty Kobo. So Julian, you have it's a stage. They know you in the business as Julian
Marvin.
Julian Marvin.
Well,
because I see Neves, but was he Marvin? Marvin's like what, your middle name?
Middle name, yes.
Oh, okay. So you go with the first and middle name.
Yeah, so that's like my writer moniker. It's like the full Julian Marvin. Because people know from media just Julian Neves. It's like
Oh yes. So you make the little differentiation in that regard.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, this is a production. I guess people know about it because the name stands out. It's one we heard of, and well, I'm seeing charity play.
Yes.
The 5th to the 7th Little Carib Theatre.
Yeah.
Walk us through. Who did the artwork? Look at the Kobo for a hat. You see this?
This is actually a good friend of mine. This is Jemuel Richmond, very, very talented graphic designer.
Yes.
And that's a swanky looking.
Yeah, telling you.
Swanky looking bird right there.
That is it.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing directed by Wendell Etienne. You're doing the production. For those who get the ticket, they position themselves at the Little Carib Theatre. What's the takeaway? What's the theme? What's the storyline here without giving away the plot?
No problem. Well, the production, it is based on my radio play, which won the BBC and British Council International Radio Playwriting Competition in 2023.
Right. That's right.
And actually, a while back, you interviewed Don Warrington, who starred, great Trinidad-born actor who's based in the UK. So what we're doing, we're taking that radio play, which did so well, in the UK, and we're going to do a dramatic reading in the Little Carib Theatre.
Fantastic. That was on 98.7 BBC Radio locally.
Yes.
I was able to take it in, and I was like, wow, imagine we got that major play, which is good. I mean, obviously, it's a production that started here at home, but it was able to get that international acclaim, and we're bringing it back. Where can folks get the tickets? And I know you would have mentioned a couple of days, the 5th to the 7th. So walk us through the time frames.
Yeah, so it's the 5th, 6th, and 7th at the Little Carib Theatre at 6 p.m. Tickets, you can contact us at 360-9199. You can email us at mightykobo@gmail.com. We're going to have tickets available at a few stores as well, too. And you can follow us at the Mighty Kobo On Stage on Facebook and also on TMC On Stage on Instagram.
Julian, you said it's a charity concert. Whereas in terms of some of the resources going towards, who are you going to help out in this regard?
Well, yeah, it's two main bodies we're helping out. The inspiration for it was a good friend of ours from Sixth Form Government School / Poly.
Yes.
Yes, Candice Spence. She lost her sight, and I had to go through 3 surgeries due to complications with diabetes. So in a really, really dire state. And, you know, as the Bible says, heart moved with compassion. So myself and we came up together with a 4-member committee of, you know, poly alums and associates to, you know, really help her out. So she'll receiving the funding, and also with the theme of the play, it's about a retired Calypsonian, you know, ageable person who's trying to come back into the Calypso game and finally win, you know, as a Calypso monarch. And it deals with intergenerational gaps, mental health, aging, you know, respect for Calypso. You know, something we were talking about, you know, when the cameras were off. And yeah, so a natural fit as well too was the Alzheimer's Association of Trinidad and Tobago, which we partnered with before to do a live listening of the radio play.
Well, Julian, again, you know, congrats in advance. It's going to be a great production. The 5th, 6th, and 7th, all days. You're going to start at 6 p.m.?
At 6 p.m. for all 3 days.
That's right. Yes. Little Carib Theatre, you're saying, at 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Any closing remarks, Julian, as we wrap things up?
Well, I would just ask people to come out. I think it's a really good production. It's very, very Trini, and I think that's what made it win the actual radio award. Come and see yourselves. Come and see, you know, Calypso, our culture, our language, you know. And it's also a story, you know, for families, about families. What is most important, you know, when we leave? What do we leave behind, you know? And come and have a wonderful time. It's funny, it's tragic, it's beautiful. Come and check it out. And a really good cause as well, too.
I must ask you before we wrap up, Julian, you've given us the Mighty Kobo. It's an award-winning piece. What's in the works? I know you must be putting pen to paper for something new.
What's in the works? Well, actually, I think my mom will be listening. Hi, Mom. We're actually collaborating on a children's book for a while now. So hopefully I get some time and sit down and bring that out.
You feel by, what, 2026 we should get that? Or before the end of 2025?
Well, I think she'll probably like it by the end of this week. Hopefully this year or by early 2026.
Keep us posted, man.
No problem.
All the best, my brother, and congrats in advance.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Again, let's put up the graphic. Look at the Kobo. You never see a Kobo prettier than this, you know. Look at the Kobo there. Kobo is looking majestic, you know, with the hat, you know. I love it. The Mighty Kobo, it's the 5th, 6th, and 7th at the Carib Theatre, 6 p.m. It's for a good cause. Check out this award-winning piece. We come back to officially wrap things up. See you soon.
Hello, Trinidad and Tobago. Have you noticed the XL products at your local pharmacy? Endorsed by cricket star Andre Russell and many more, these supplements represent the pinnacle of natural health solutions, trusted for their efficacy and purity.
Advance your career and increase your earning potential with the University of Bedfordshire's MBA program at CTS College. This UK-accredited MBA is globally and ACTT recognized and is the most affordable in Trinidad and Tobago. With 6 intakes per year and the option to study 1 unit at a time, you can complete the general MBA or one of 6 specializations in 12 months. And with flexible entry requirements and payment options, students with various backgrounds can enroll. Contact CTS College today and find out how you can get $12,000 off.
New promotions. Arima Door Center number 4, Cleveland Road, Arima, is having new arrivals and new prices. See new security steel doors, $1,900. A variety of door handles starting at $60. Bathroom vanity sets, $1,700. So hurry to Arima Door Center.
Get the best in affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, Endeavour, Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Big ambition starts with clear vision. This back-to-learning season, Herrera Optical has eyewear packages for every learner. For kids 15 years and under, get a free frame with lenses starting at just $495. Scholars, it's time to level up up your look with frame plus lenses from $750. Lifelong learners purchase any frame $1,099 plus and unlock up to 30% off premium lenses like Eisen, Varilux, and Transitions in 8 bold colors. And don't miss your chance to win a $1,500 learning supply voucher or transition lenses when you purchase any eyewear package. Ferrera Optical, big ambition, clear vision. Visit us in store today. This promotion is NLCB approved.
Welcome to RD Good Health Medical Center, your trusted partner in total wellness. We're conveniently located at 34B Southern Main Road, Montrose, Chaguanas. From consultations to diagnostics, vaccinations, and women's health, we're here for you. Our cutting-edge tech includes a 124-slice CT scanner, X-ray, ultrasound, and full lab services to ensure you get everything under one roof. Plus, our dialysis center offers expert, affordable care. RD Good Health, caring for you every step of the way. Contact us at 223-3730 or WhatsApp 725-4663 today.
Cricks. There's a new Cricks back with colors that pop. Huh? Yeah, say colors that pop. Same great Cricks that's in all your shops.
T-shop?
All your shops. Fresh new look, delicious to see. It looks so good, it's delicious to see. With toppings on top of time, I'm real hungry.
Yeah, boy, real hungry.
Cricks. New pack is a hit. Best food, yes, I know sick. Ready for the short thing to fix your mix? Just reach for the new pack. Reach for your Cricks. Get your Cricks today. New look, same vital supplies.
Currents used to fight inflammation.
Omega XL.
Mommy hurting my boy. What do you think I should take, babe?
My mommy and daddy should use Omega XL to fight inflammation.
You can tell from the crowd who's up next. It's Trinray's star player, whose world-class stats put him in a league of his own. Trinray's risen to become a true force to be reckoned with. With an unbeaten Carry A rating, they boast a strong solvency and A-class service. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing Trinray's financial and technical strength at its best.
Trinray, premier insurance coverage for less.
Yeah, welcome back. As we look to wrap things up, just had to kind of explain myself. You know, I usually I listen for the open forum segment, and whether people support or criticize the current administration, I mean, I would let people have their say. But certain words kind of trigger me, and that word enemy, you know, it's a word that I associate with hate. And hate and enemy, those are not things of God. Those are things that could make you think a certain way and treat people a certain way. And I could never, despite of whatever issues, look at my neighbor 7 miles away. When you even look at my own history, my great-grandmother from Venezuela, I mean, all of us have a little bit of that in us. Not everybody, but, I just, that's why I kind of had to put a little pause. But, myself and Chaguanas, we have that nice rap all the time, and I guess we'll continue with it tomorrow. With that being said, let's have ourselves a safe one. Let's keep our eyes on the news cycle and hope that this could blow over peacefully. Be safe, TNT. Godspeed, I'm back for more tomorrow.
The Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.